Fátima Bosch won Miss Universe, and this is what has been happening in Mexico before and after she won. Everything started wrong, everything was weird, even since the national contest, and things didn't get better. Just as a disclaimer, this is not hate. So everything started when she last minute accepted being part of the Miss Universe edition in Mexico. The way she enrolled was unusual. It was very last minute in a way, and they call her, they look for her so she could be in that pageant. Up to that point, to me, it was already unusual, but all good. I mean, I guess it could happen. I'm not sure how things work. During the final round of the contest, when they announced that Fátima was going to be Miss Mexico, they announced her like Fátima Bosch, Miss Mexico, and at first nobody said anything. Nobody went to say, congratulations Fátima. Very few people clap at the time, and it was like big news in Mexico because it's the first time that a Miss wins and she doesn't receive any kind of recognition from her mates. At first we all thought, well, the other ladies might be jealous because Fátima is obviously pretty. I think she didn't have a good runway or something like that, but in the speech part she did a very good job. At least that's what people say, and people believe it was a legit result. That day, instead of screaming Fátima, Fátima or Miss Tabasco because she is from Tabasco, people started screaming Jalisco, like the state of the person that was supposed to win. To our eyes, as the audience, we didn't think, and I think most of us didn't think, that Miss Jalisco was better looking than Fátima, but apparently during the contest, Miss Jalisco proved herself, and everybody thought that the crown was stolen from her. To our eyes, Fátima was a very nice girl. She is very religious, so in Mexico that is also very religious. That connected very well with the audience. And I think most of the Mexicans were happy with the results. So it wasn't a big deal. We all just thought that the other misses were kind of jealous maybe, or they had something personal. But personally, I did find it weird because there has been many editions of Miss Universe here and it never happened that before. So I dig in to see but what's happening. And I find out that the dad of Fátima is a very well-connected businessman and that he works in Petróleos Mexicanos. So Petróleos Mexicanos, it's very close with the government, and Pemex, it's like Pertamina in Indonesia, but it's like the Mexican version. So the dad is very well connected. Nowadays, Pemex in Mexico, it's crap. It doesn't work well. It's a big corruption there. Like everything about Pemex, it's corruption nowadays. By that time, I could guess there was something unfair, but I couldn't guess what it was. And until today, I still don't know what happened exactly there. But the girls were angry. Everybody was attacking the other misses, defending Fátima. And Fátima seemed like a victim, but at the same time it was weird because this doesn't happen commonly. To my eyes, maybe there was something shady, but at the same time, she was maybe the strongest candidate of Mexico's edition. Anyway, Mexico goes to Miss Universe with all the support of the people in Mexico. Like, she goes as a very strong candidate, maybe because of the background and the connection, the religious connection with the audience. Like, she's very charismatic and she knows how to connect. Then the scandal with the Thai man, that was super inappropriate. I don't know if it was truth or not, now I don't know, but I thought it was super out of the line, and I thought it was okay for her to raise her voice. I think she did something according to the Miss Universe program in regards to the women empowerment. And once again, she gains popularity because of that situation. In my humble opinion, even if she's obviously beautiful, she wasn't going to win. Like, she doesn't seem like an expert or up to the level to win Miss Universe. To me, she didn't look as prepared as some other candidates. But as before the final of Miss Universe, she was good with words. I thought, well, maybe if she speaks well, she could make it to the top 10 or top 5. I want to say that my favorite since moment one was Côte d'Ivoire. Côte d'Ivoire and Turks and Caicos and Guadeloupe. But Côte d'Ivoire, wow. And what we saw the night of the final round in Miss Universe was a queen. And the queen was not Fatima, I'm sorry to say it, but she was not the queen, it was Côte d'Ivoire. At least to me, Côte d'Ivoire, if not maybe Venezuela, because her speech was so strong. Philippines was also very good, and well, many others were doing a good job, but to me, Côte d'Ivoire. And then I realized that it wasn't just me, but the whole world. After Miss Universe wins, of course there's pride in Mexico and some people is super happy to have the 4th crown in the country. But many others, like me, are not. I'm disappointed. That was not meant to happen. And today, all newspapers, all journalists are talking about this, but not necessarily in a positive way. And this is happening in Mexico, in her country. After digging in with all what Omar Harfouch said and other judges, we find out that there is deeper shit in this topic. Everything seems to be connected with the government. At the moment, Mexico is facing a terrible political and economical crisis. And it seems like the official party basically sent this lady to compete and win. So Fatima's dad has a long history in corruption, but he managed to get away with that after a year of being unable to work in Pemex. Well, now he's back in Pemex and he sent approximately $50 million to Raúl Rocha, the owner, well, basically the owner of Miss Universe, who's also Mexican, is a businessman who's also involved in many business, and we don't know what kind of business. Some of them look perfectly normal, some of them doesn't look very normal. And we have realized that in some interviews, Fatima spoke very well of the government, especially of our female president, who I personally dislike for many reasons, but that's another topic. Everything seems to be way too connected to be a coincidence, and I believe that this is as shady and fishy as it could be. What makes me feel so upset about this is the affected people. Let's say Côte d'Ivoire. Like she's an African woman, and for African women everything is twice harder, and she made it, and the crown is not with her. I feel so ashamed to admit it, but these things happen in Mexico. It breaks my heart to see that people is thinking that this was something related to racism. Fortunately, it wasn't, but it's related to corruption, that it's also something so sad to admit and to live day by day. And to my eyes, Côte d'Ivoire is the most affected, but she's not the only one. All the ladies that didn't qualify to the 30 selected were damaged by these Mexican people. Fatima's family, Raúl Rocha, and the Mexican government. Fatima's auntie is at the moment the president of the institute that brings back to the town what was taken away from them. So today they said, so if you're giving back to the town what people took away, could you please give us the crown for the actual queen? Imagine, like, that's the level of disappointment, anger, shame. We feel ashamed as Mexicans because obviously, I mean, it happened because of the situation in Mexico. I truly hope that there can be justice and that something happens, because we can definitely not continue this way, and especially affecting people that has nothing to do with this crack country. And don't get me wrong, some days I love Mexico, but some days I hate it, and today I hate it.